We got the Bellator middleweight champion here on the program yet again. Gegard Mousasi will be taking on Rory MacDonald at Bellator 206. Gegard, how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's good to talk to you again. Now, last time we did this interview, you were playing FIFA in the background. You playing any video games this time around?
No, I lost a lot of time to my friend, and since then I'm not playing because I lose every time money to him. So
Okay, fair
lately
enough.
I
Yeah.
haven't been playing FIFA a lot.
Okay, fair enough. Do you generally go to bed pretty late? I mean, it's 11 o'clock in Amsterdam right now. Is that typically how late you go to bed?
Well, I'm sleeping around 3, 4 o'clock in the mornings now, and once I go to US, I'm on their time, so I won't have any problem with the jet lag.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's talk about your last fight where you won the title, Bellator 200. You get that win over Rafael Carvalho. Did you expect that fight to go that quickly? You pretty much just went in there and took care of business in the first round.
No, I didn't expect it because he was undefeated for a long time. He was the champion. I felt like he would come in very confident, and but you never expect it to go that fast. But I had very fast fights. I have a lot of fights that I finished in the first round, so I know with fights, you can go in there, you can have 5 minutes rounds, or you can go maybe finish them in 1 minute. It's you never know. That's the thing about fighting.
And you've achieved a lot in your career, both in the UFC and overseas and everything like that. What did it mean to you to win the Bellator title? Just adding another piece of hardware to your resume.
Yeah, I was chasing the title for a long time. Obviously, I didn't get my shot at the UFC belt. So coming to Bellator, I had to fight Shimolenko to earn it, and then eventually winning the belt. Yeah, it was a long road, so I was very happy.
And you must have been happy as well, because I know a lot of people were critical of that fight against Shlemenko. It was a close fight, and you went in there and you took out the champ in less than a minute. Do you feel like you kind of shut some of those critics up?
Yeah, 100%. And then Shimolenko lost his fight, the next fight. So I think that shut up the his fans a little bit more because listen, yeah, I broke my orbital in the first minute. It wasn't my best performance, but I won. If I felt like I lost, I would have said I lost. I won one and two, and he won the third round. So people need to learn how the judges score the fights.
I agree. Let's talk about this fight against Rory MacDonald. At what point did you know this fight could have been a possibility? Because it was sort of talked about right after you won, but I mean, it's tough to put super fights together like this. When did you find out that this was going to become a reality?
Well, Scott invited me to New York for a press conference. He didn't say who I was fighting, but I was already thinking maybe it's Rory because he was trying to keep it as secret possible because they wanted to announce it at the press conference. But eventually, Errol Hawani, he figured it out somehow and he mentioned it before the press conference.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Do you feel like a fight like this would have ever taken place during your UFC career? Because Bellator, this is your third fight in Bellator, and you're already getting a super fight like this.
Um, no, no, because I had difficulties to get the middleweight UFC title fight, let alone saying I want to fight the welterweight champion or something like that, or I want to fight the light heavyweight champion. So obviously not, because I felt like I didn't even get the shot at the middleweight belt.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about Rory MacDonald. Obviously, the welterweight champion in Bellator. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I match up pretty well. He's well rounded. We're actually pretty similar. We have decent wrestling. We can fight on the ground. We have good stand up. So it's very evenly matched. I'm trying to outfight him, outsmart him. If that doesn't work, I can outpower him, or make a fight out of it. But the plan is to be the better fighter.
Do you feel like you will have a power and strength advantage in this fight with the fact that you fought at light heavyweight and Rory's coming up from welterweight, so you guys are coming from opposite directions?
Obviously, I feel like I'm gonna be a lot stronger, but that's being a stronger fighter doesn't mean that you're gonna win. He's very technically sound, but of course, when I watch his fight, those takedowns that he did against Douglas Lima, I don't think it's gonna work on me. So Yeah, obviously it gives me confidence, but also I know it's not the decisive factor that's gonna decide who's gonna win.
What about training camp? Have you kept things primarily the same as far as training partners and coaches and everything else?
Yeah, everything is the same. Of course, focusing on Rory a little bit with the game plan, but obviously I do wrestling, I do stand up, I do ground. Um, yeah, it's basically the same actually.
Okay. What about training partners? Who are some of your main training partners that are helping you get ready for this fight?
Costello, my friend, is fighting also in Bellator, the middleweight, and then I have a lot of guys coming and go. I think the Cage Warrior champion came in this week, so Friday I'm gonna train with him a little bit. There's always guys coming and go, but I have also my normal partner, sparring partners. Plenty of kickboxers and plenty of big guys for the ground game. So I train with a lot with the heavyweights and light heavyweights. So I feel like fighting Rory, it should be, I feel like my training is being harder than the fight should be. But hopefully the strength advantage is significant. Significant. How you
Significant,
say it?
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
what you're saying. It's okay.
So that I have an easy fight, but that's what I'm hoping. You never know.
Okay. And what about the weight cut? I mean, this fight's coming up here next week. Is everything going according to plan?
Yeah, I'm around 200 pounds. I think he's 190, so I will have a 10-pound weight advantage probably.
Are we going to see another finish in this fight? It certainly looked like it in your last one, but we know how tough Rory MacDonald is to finish. Do you feel like we will see a finish in this title fight?
I hope so. He's too tough for his own good and for my own sake. He doesn't give up. So I have to catch him, or I have to, surprise him with a submission or something like that. I really have to finish him. Otherwise, it's gonna be difficult. He doesn't give up. I see myself winning in 2 rounds, but I see myself also fighting him 5 rounds. You never know.
One of your past opponents, Lyoto Machida, signed with Bellator. He's fighting your last opponent, Carvalho, coming up here very soon. Who is that a fight you're still interested in getting that rematch
Yeah,
with Lyoto Machida?
100%. I hope Machida wins. I like Carvalho, but I hope Machida wins and we can have that fight. But there's also John Salter versus Lovato this week. So one of them are also going to be the #1 contender. So Machida is fighting December. If I win this one, I want to fight the winner of those two guys and then fight April or March versus Machida. That's what I want at least, but Bellator decides.
Are you worried at all about Machida? I know Bellator does drug testing, but are you worried at all that because I know last time there were some issues when you guys fought?
Yeah, listen, if we fight, it's blood and urine testing. Otherwise, I'm not gonna fight him. Let's see how he shows up at versus Carvalho. Maybe he has a six pack again because versus Fito Belfort, he looked fat and sloppy. But who knows if he suddenly has a six pack, then he's doing something. But hey, who knows? Let him win his fight, and then of course he will be drug tested a lot. He's in California; it's easy to test him.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Speaking of drug testing, the big news right now is Jon Jones is going to be returning. It looks like he's been cleared to return for the end of the year. Of course, he was caught a second time by USADA. Just your reaction to that, him returning to MMA.
I think it's great that he's coming back because he's one of the best, if not the best. So people want to see him. Of course, not everyone gets the fair treatment. Let's say if it would have been another fighter, maybe that guy would have got 4 years. But obviously, that's USADA's fault. But obviously, I'm happy that he's fighting. Great fights to see. Why not?
Okay, but playing devil's advocate though, I mean, you were just saying that you were against Machida and all the stuff he was doing, and now we have Jon Jones who was caught for something similar, and now he's returning early. I mean, he was supposed to be 4 years.
Uh, Listen, even Machida got cut for something very stupid. I didn't believe Machida's suspension was should have been that harsh. Uh, I believe. But he got 2 years, I believe, Machida. Yeah, I felt like that was a harsh punishment for Machida. Obviously, like I said, life is not fair. So I expect things that different people get different treatment. It's how much money you make, if you're a champion, or things are different. I realize that, so I know how lives work.
No, I agree. And kind of on that same note, I noticed in another interview or on the conference call, you said that the UFC is declining. Is that part of that, just the favoritism and sort of the way they handle their business?
Nah, not, declining like the last. I'm not talking about pay-per-views, but the fight cards that they put on is not that intriguing. Female fighters are the main event. I'm not. No one wants to pay for that. I'm sorry to the female fighters that they're just not that interesting. Okay,
Okay, fair enough.
maybe I should have said
You're
that.
saying this,
But,
not me, so fair enough. Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
fine.
but let's be honest. Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes. That's a nice fight, but who was the champion that was supposed to fight Valentina?
Oh, Nico Montano.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
Right.
Never heard of her, at least. And she was main event.
Yeah, she was the champion because she won the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, but that was the main event, right?
It was the co-main event because
Yeah.
Woodley
Who
and
wants
Till
to
was the
see
main
that
event, I
as a
think.
co-main event?
Yeah. So, but I kind of get what you're saying there. No, that's understandable as far as how they're doing their cards. Do you think they do too many cards? Do you think it's too saturated?
Not many good cards, because yeah, the cards are getting the fights are not that interesting. Let's say.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Last question before I let you go, and again, I appreciate the time. We had some sad news this week. Kid Yamamoto passing away. He was a staple in Japanese MMA. Did you ever meet him when you were competing in Dream at all? And if so, do you have a memory that you want to share here?
No, I never met him, but I don't know him personally. But yeah, my thought goes to his family, his friends, fans. When something like that happened to someone in the same business where I'm in, you get to think about life and about your own family and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was sad news. But I didn't know him personally, so I don't have any no connection. I have a little bit because I knew him from watching him, but I didn't know him personally.
Well, some good news is this fight's coming up here next week. It's Bellator 206. Gegard, always appreciate the time. Just if you want anyone to thank here, or you want to plug any social media or anything, the floor is
Uh,
yours, sir.
Hypnotic and Ref Gear, they're sponsoring me this time, so. And no, my family, my friends, my coaches. I'm always thankful to them, because of them I can train and do what I do, and hopefully we have a good fight.